Okay. So, hello, Tima. My fiancé don't want me to travel outside the country. A little background story. I'm a 25-year-old single mother from a broken home. Both my parents never cared about me. Peer pressure was never underestimated in my life. I became a mother at 15 whilst writing my BSc. After that, I had to move in with my baby daddy, and life was very hard. He abused me sexually, physically, and mentally. 5 months after I delivered my baby, I got pregnant again. And this time, I terminated it. My baby daddy is a Muslim, so he didn't approve of it. But I did it because how can I have two kids before 18? This increased the level of maltreatment, but I endured since I had nowhere to go. Whilst my mates were talking about life stories from boarding house, I had a baby in my arms. Tima, a life I never imagined growing up for myself. I fell into depression. I started listening to the most successful women in the world who had been abused before. I started having hatred in me. I one day sat my baby daddy down and told him I want to continue my schooling. Since he's not financially capable of taking care of my schooling and the baby, he should allow me go back to my family as a prodigal daughter to see if someone will have mercy on me and put me back to school or even learn a trade. But he refused and told me that I am selfish. According to him, he was there for me when no one was there. He said he could have also run away. This is serious. This is serious. He said he could have also run away or even denied the pregnancy since he knew I had no one. But he stood by me all this while and I want to leave. But, Tima, this wasn't the life I wanted. So, I ran away from him, came to my mother's place and begged her to have mercy on me. But she made it clear to me that she can only provide me with shelter. So I should find what my child and I will be eating during her stay. She said she didn't get anyone to help her when she had me in her teenage time. Tima, it got worse when my baby daddy realized I had left. He called me and told me that he knows I'll be back since I can't take care of the child alone. I had to start hawking and working in chop bars until I gathered some money and put my son in school. All this happened in 2 years, and my baby daddy never came or gave me a penny for the child. He threatened to take the child from me anytime I talked about his irresponsibility. Tima, I really love my son because he was all I had. So I kept quiet. My friend from junior high school got me a well-paying job in a different city. So I left my son for my mother and she charged me for taking care of my child. Over there, I worked very hard until I was able to gather some money. My manager really liked me because of how hardworking I was. So I mustered the courage to tell him my story and he asked me what I wanted. Tima, I told him he should give me the chance to work on the night shift alone so I can go to school. He was very shocked at my determination that he couldn't say no. I quickly enrolled myself in one of the best private secondary schools in that town. Tima, my first day at SHS was the happiest day in my life. Though my mates were quite young, I coped with them. Finally, I was in my final year. Combining studies with work wasn't helping, so I decided to take a long break without salary because I can't afford to lose my final examination. I saved some money down so I was rest assured it would sustain me for some time. I came home to visit my son and met an old friend whose child was seriously ill and needed a surgery. Immediately, I didn't think twice. I handed all the money on me to her as a loan. I made it clear to her that my exams was in a few months, so she has to pay me before the examination. Because in my school, if you owe a penny, you won't write your final examination. I went back and started planning for my final exams. Now, it was about 3 weeks to my exams, and I called my friend for my money, and she was shocked because she had already given the money to my mother some months back. I wasn't reachable on phone, and even added transportation to it so she can bring me the money. But my mom never came. Tima, immediately my heart stopped beating. I quickly called my mom and she told me my son had spoiled her ATM card, so she can't withdraw money. So I was like, how? She hung up before I could say anything. I knew my mom was wicked to me, but this was my own money, Tima, we were talking about. My life depended on that school. She knew how I suffered to reach there, but she shattered everything. I swear on my life never to forgive her. Tima, as at that time, I had nothing on me to even go back home. And even I going there, the fear of my mom telling me to take my son back pushed me not to even go back to home at all. Now I had to look for a way forward. A friend of mine told me to start a hookup since that was the only way to get the money I wanted within that short period. So I agreed. My first customer dragged me and allowed his friends take turns with me. I totally was unconscious, so I saw them enjoyed what they were doing. I was so weak to fight back. All my tears had finished, and all my prayers were that they allow me go alive. The next morning, I only saw the guy who booked me previously, so I asked for my money and he told me he would send it. Since I didn't know anything about the business, I agreed and left, but he never sent me the money. I decided to seek spiritual solutions because I thought my case wasn't ordinary. But Tima, anywhere I went, they wanted to have sexual intercourse with me, being it pastors, malams, and even seers. So I got scared and stopped going to them and allowed nature takes its own course. Now, there was this guy in my DM who has been pressurizing me into a relationship. So I asked him to take me out and he did. That night we had sex. He dropped me off the following morning and gave me some money. I couldn't wait to get into my room and count the money because I thought I had gotten the money to complete my school fees. But the money was very small, not even up to 1% of what I was expecting. I got angry at him and started ignoring him, but he kept on coming and I also started missing him. I haven't heard something so real for a very long time. In fact, I got my first orgasm from him. Wow. So I decided to go out with him. We went to a bar and I got drunk that I poured all my story down. I woke up the next morning and he had served me breakfast in bed. I was shocked and asked what we were celebrating, and he immediately got on his knees and started apologizing. He said he thought I was a town running girl and he only wanted to keep me for knacks and never felt anything for me. But he saw me differently last night. He realized what I have been through and I really needed love in my life. He promised to be there for me and my son, always, and love me forever. I was still in shock and asked him to send me home since I wanted to process what was going on. I then got a lot of some huge money from him. It was double of what I wanted to complete my school fees. I quickly ran to my school and made payment. It was left with some few days to my exams. This guy started teaching me. He wasn't a teacher though, but he did the same course with me during his secondary school time. So he was very good at them. He started giving me money before I even asked. He even gave me money and gifts to send to my son. He wasn't my spec physically, but I tried to reciprocate the love he was given. In fact, I never thought good men existed until I met this guy. After my exams, he proposed. I wasn't ready for marriage because I wanted to have a career first before. But I was really already tired considering what I went through with my secondary school, not to talk about tertiary. I wanted to give up on my dreams, but he assured me he would set up a business for me right after our wedding. He even gave me some money to start an online business whilst waiting for my results. The business was doing well and he was happy with it. He wanted a child desperately, but I told him I'm not having baby number 2 without marrying. So we speed up our marriage arrangements. Tima, our wedding is in 4 months' time. Our venue has been booked. Hotels have been booked. Traditional married things have been bought. My dresses are with designers. Rings have been bought. Even the place for honeymoon has been booked. I received a message that would change everything. My former manager texted me to meet him urgently. So I went, and he told me he did a German visa for his sister. The visa comes with a work permit, and the company that sent her sister wanted one lady. He thought of helping me with this chance. My manager didn't know about my wedding plans, so I told him I'll get back to him. I came home confused because I needed this opportunity some years back, but it never came. My fiancé came back from work and I told him about it, and I could sense that he wasn't happy about it. He told me that I shouldn't be selfish because I knew that he wanted a child. So I should have told my manager that I wasn't interested because there's nothing to talk about. Tima, I don't want to be an ungrateful person to this guy because he was so good to me and my son. He was there when no one was. His family and friends sees me now as a betrayer and a gold digger. That if he marries me and things goes bad, I will leave him. I told my fiancé that we should rush and do a civil wedding with no refreshment so I can go. Since the visa has a working permit, I can come back for him. And he told me that would delay his childbearing. Tima, now I am confused. I wrote this long story so you understand me well. The funny thing is that he has refused to help me in paying the amount needed for my processing. He claimed he doesn't have money. This is someone who was planning a wedding. He knows perfectly well I won't get that money and I'm losing it. Dear Tima, please help me. What do I do?